Hi everyone,
I'm Akshaya
I'm Malvika.
and welcome to
In Mind We Trust.
So
We have a third
today-
face.
Yes, we have little person here.
Hi
You can say
guys.
hi, this is Kunal, and we do a big introduction for him because he deserves it.
Are you doing that or he's doing that himself?
No, I'm
I
not
think
doing
we
it
both
myself.
should do it. So, guys,
I
we
can't
are
do it
here
myself.
again in a new location. We are in Brickhouse Properties again, thanks to Kunal. He is the co-founder of Brickhouse Properties, been in the real estate industry for years, and I think he
Yeah.
is the perfect first guest that we could ever ask.
You are our first guest.
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys. It's a privilege.
Oh wow!
How sweet.
How
That's
nice
not
of
what you were saying off camera.
Yes.
Yeah, but
We'll
then
take it.
yes.
Thank you so much for being here, Kunal. I think
Thanks
it's
for being here.
a great opportunity to talk to someone like you in a space like this because we want the raw, natural reality or truth about the topic that we are discussing today, which I will let Malvika introduce. for
Yeah, we're
all our
talking
guests.
about entrepreneurship and no one better than Kunal.
Right?
Your colleague, my friend.
Yes.
And I think sometimes when you talk to people professionally or when I'm watching something professionally, you're also getting a very professional point of view. I think with Kunal, you've got that professional point of view and I've got that personal
Right.
point of view.
Right.
And it'll be interesting to see how you combine both of that and talk about entrepreneurship to a lot of people who may be wanting to learn.
Yes.
Sure. Happy to help.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think we're looking forward.
So should we get into
We're
the
excited
questions?
though, we're excited. for
I'm
this.
nervous, but
Really?
We
but
were
excited
nervous-
as well.
We
Yeah.
were nervous too. in
I'm
our
both. I
first.
think this would be my first podcast.
Really?
So probably that could be the reason why I'm a little nervous, but still excited.
I'm excited for the topic, guys,
Yeah.
because I've in the last couple of years also moved towards this direction. So I'm excited to talk about entrepreneurship, but hear from him because he's doing this in
In real
Dubai
time.
in a very, I think, a very competitive market.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to hear from you.
Especially in real time because I think this market does have a lot of opportunities, and so I really wanted to get that perspective from Kunal.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm in the space,
Yeah.
but talking to him off work schedule and on camera is different. Is
I
definitely.
think that's what I
different.
meant by saying this personal and professional,
Yeah.
like a good blend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you're on the hot seat. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome.
You guys.
Do you want to start?
Yes,
Attack.
I can start with. So we have a set of questions, guys. We did share them with each other prior.
Kunal
to this.
dismissed all of them.
No, I never dismissed, but I just thought that let be a little more raw.
Yes.
So I just had a fleeting look at it, but
Well-
I've not gone through in detail, but that's okay.
So it's okay. I will not stick to
Yeah,
this.
you
question.
don't have to obviously you don't have to feel that you have to stick to a script, but
Yeah,
which I know that you don't have one. Because,
Yeah.
but I think we wanted to have these questions so that we are more structured and asking you the honest questions that we have in mind, and I'm sure other people also have in mind. So okay, let me ask the first question. Why did you start your own business?
Probably a very generic, kind of question to answer to, but then, I can probably put my perspective to it. Real estate always has been, my passion. I mean, all you guys know that I've been doing real estate for the last 15 years. Since 2010, this would be my 15th year. I don't think I would have continued for this long unless and until I had the passion to, do this. So first and foremost, I think, to ask the question why I think it's the passion towards real estate in terms of, why I wanted to do this in the first place. But then I think also a couple of other, pointers like actually the sense of starting something from ground up would also be one of the reasons why we started this. At the same time, I think this is again one of the pointers that me and Akshay that we've discussed is that wanted to create a platform for people that I've known in the past for all the 14-15 years that I've worked with, to give all of these guys an opportunity to be there on the platform and perform. Because what I've understood in one of the shorter journey of entrepreneurship is that you can't do everything alone. I mean, obviously you can start off alone, but then you need people to create certain sort of foundation, and that is where the other idea with regards to actually to do it with some people along, and then take people moving forward. So could be a mix of all of these reasons in terms of why I started on the entrepreneurship journey.
Well, that's interesting. So I just wanted to add to that. When we talk about mental health, right? We say this so often. You don't do anything alone.
Yeah,
Honestly, in life,
yeah,
Yeah.
any healing or honestly even trauma happens in the interpersonal. So when you said that, for me, that was it resonated so much when you said that I'm not only doing this for me
yeah,
but for friends and to take everybody along.
yeah.
Honestly, sounded like Jonathan Livingston's CV. Have you ever
Oh,
read
yeah.
about it on some
Yeah,
other podcast? Have you read
definitely.
it?
Interesting. Okay. I like how you made that
It's
connection.
one of my favorite books,
Yeah.
Seagulls.
Right?
Have you
Okay.
read?
Alien to me.
We will introduce you to that book.
Yes, why not? This
So
is a moment where you learn something from
it's me complimenting you because
No,
in
no, no.
that book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull does things for
Does
others.
it? Yeah.
So I mean, it's really revolutionary for what you said, right? From starting something from ground, zero to where you are right now, and also you're obviously maybe on step number 10, and you have 890 more to go. But what are some challenges that you might have faced from starting, from that low to now where you're at, and what do you, what vision do you have for yourself in the future? I know it's a two
Two
type
questions.
Yeah.
questions, but maybe just start with what challenges you've faced so far.
Sure. No, so in case if you go back to the first question that you start everything alone in an journey, I think that in itself is a challenge because after a certain point of time you need people to kind of take you through.
Yeah.
So that could be probably the first step as far as a challenge is concerned.
Mm.
But when you start working with other people as well, or probably in case if it's something which is real estate, a company like us, I think one of the major challenges that we face is probably a cash flow management. Just working on how the money comes through, how it goes back, because it's a very capital intensive
Absolutely.
industry. A lot of money goes upfront into doing a lot of digital campaigns. We're also doing various events across the globe, so a lot of money goes there. So to manage all of that stuff along with the salaries that you guys want to put in, so that's always a challenge. Because one thing what we've understood is that your challenges are going to be 100% there. If not, the result is kind of not there. So every month for a fact that these are the expenses, and I think these are the only absolute things that for sure that will come through. So probably that could be, I think, one of the challenges that we face on an ongoing basis. Secondly, also as a new startup, what we found out is that hiring the right talent is always a challenge, because while you're trying to connect with people, you're also trying to resonate on a level that the guy or the girl gets your vision in terms of what you want to do along, and it's just not about what you're trying to do as a company. And somebody new coming in will always have those kind of apprehensions with regards to whether it's financial or whether it's believing in your own set of thoughts. So those challenges, I think, not only us but I think any other new startup would be kind of facing through. And again, we've discussed that with Akshaya. She goes through, I think, all of this day in day out. So that could be, I think, another set of challenges. So I think these two things come to my mind straight off the bat. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, we've been very lucky in terms of whether it's with people or whether it's with all of these challenges that we faced kind of head on. And some or the other way, we found a way through kind of to go through, whether it's getting more people on board, whether it's managing our own self.
Right.
Also, we always wanted to grow organically.
Mm.
So that I think could be sort of a way that you can negate through all of these challenges in terms of how do you want to grow as a company. Because here in Dubai everything is fast paced,
Yeah, we've seen
especially
that.
Dubai real estate. So you can go from 0 to 100 probably in like 6 seconds as far as real estate
We've all
operations are
seen those
concerned.
reels.
And
Exactly.
then you guys can go down the same way in a similar manner. So
Right.
I think these were some of the things that we faced earlier on.
Mhm.
Not certain in terms of what more challenges come our way, but I think we still they're figuring out in a better
Yeah.
manner in terms of how we navigate through all of these challenges.
Okay, so as my boss, I always have seen him, tackle these challenges that we face on a day-to-day basis at work. And one thing that surprises me is nothing surprises him. He's always ready for something. Like he's like, okay, there's an issue. It's all right. We'll figure something out. Or he always has a solution, which is really commendable because um, in the business in a business, I always see that people get a little shaken up when there is some major issue happening
True.
and when they are not able to do something that they have planned, because obviously the impact is not just one fold, it's two folds or multiple folds, right? It
Right.
maybe impacts the cash flow, it maybe impacts the money that's coming in or going out, or whatever, or the people in your business. And I think that's something that I've seen him tackle very well, which obviously is a very good sign of a leader, because you're not startled by just small issues at work. You're always prepared, and even if you're not prepared, you're always coming from a point of view that okay, there has to be a solution, let's work towards it. um, which I think definitely is a very good sign of a good leader and also a good organization culture that will eventually build within our network. And the other thing that I picked up was that yes, Dubai is a land of opportunities, but a very big misconception that people have is that if we are transactional, we'll get to 0 to 100 very very quick.
Yeah.
But the fact that he chose to be transformational and not transactional is one reason why I
We
connected
connected. Yeah.
and I started working here, right? And the same thing I translate into every candidate I meet, every client I meet, or anyone I'm meeting. The fact that we are more transformational, we want to give you the space to grow, but also have this mindset that listen, we have to have targets and we have to make or achieve few things, not just professionally but personally as well. And that's what I see as a good thing, coming out of your leadership and from my other colleagues as well, which
इतना
is
phrase हो गया he phrased it too
No,
much.
I mean,
which
not.
I've told him, even
No, I know,
back,
I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
But
I'm kidding that.
honest, this is honest, like
No,
the truth, right?
see. As an organization, I think we've been, or probably just as a part of my, business journey. I think I've been lucky enough to have so many challenges, earlier on, and that is the reason why, in case if you see me with all of these new problems coming in, probably that's the only reason why
So
I'm,
there's some level of
calm
preparedness, is what
calm
I was
enough,
also
because
thinking.
yeah, because I've gone through so many issues in the earlier days, in terms of things not going our way, some or the other issues with your PRO, your bank accounts, some issues going through. Yesterday again we faced some new
Yeah.
issues with our banking thing. So I the only thing which I found out that at the end of the day, uh, these smaller challenges are going to be there as a part of your daily journey.
Yeah.
And for someone like me to be there in that leadership role, and to kind of navigate on a daily basis, I can't be kind of
Startled all
startled
the
by
time.
all of
Yeah.
these issues. So
Yeah.
you need to be there present every day, just to kind of be there, and probably take one day at a time. So that's the only one thing that I've learned, that these challenges will be there. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't find an escape route to it. But as I said, that I probably find myself lucky enough that all of these
But
challenges have
but
come.
Kunal, I do want to say luck is one factor. You're also working hard, right?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, yes, it
Take
is.
credit where due. And I
He
mean,
does, yeah.
yeah,
He does
because
work really hard.
yeah, and but I also want to say that I want to ask you. So one is hard work, one is luck, okay. But what happens when there is doubt and when there is fear or when there's uncertainty? How do you take care of yourself when that happens?
So, I mean, coming back to your question, wherein luck, I don't think luck has mattered that much throughout my entire life. So I knew for a fact that in case if I needed to do something, it's probably only through hard work that I'll be able to get through. Whether it was my job or whether it was the business journey that we started on. But I think in terms of fear or doubts, uh, I'm probably a person who's self-aware in terms of I acknowledge for a fact that these are my shortcomings and these are my strengths. So probably as an individual or as someone who's in a leadership position, I think it's really important for you to
Absolutely.
actually acknowledge the issue first whenever there's a fear or whenever there's a doubt that okay, this is an issue to be looked at. Once you acknowledge, I think what I've understood is that then the problem starts shrinking down in terms of okay, now you've
Awareness.
acknowledged this and then this is how you will probably take it. But as I earlier said that probably the next step for me would be to take it or to take it on a step by step basis. So I
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
go back, try and analyze the issue, and then I break it up into very simple things.
Yeah.
Probably it's one day at a time, it's one step at a time.
Yeah.
So I think that helps with regards to kind of not putting a lot of self doubt in terms of how we'll go through. So I think firstly it's to acknowledge, and then in case if somebody can break it down, I mean obviously in my case it's going to be me. It's in terms of how you'll break out the entire issue and then look at it from a very granular basis and then probably move down. I think that's what helped me in life in general, but I think that's what I've been kind of applying that to
Business
the
as well.
business
Yeah,
as
it's
well. So
interesting.
I think probably that is really important to do that. I think that's something which has worked for me. I don't know in case if it works
I
for
was
other
just going to
people
say
as
that
well.
something that works for you doesn't work for me like that.
Yeah.
Because I can't find myself breaking things step by step.
But
I panic first.
yeah, no, I think that's completely fine, right? If you panicked and then you
Yeah.
find a solution, that's fine. Maybe some people work like that. But I was just thinking that's a great tip for someone
I
who's
was going to
wanting
say.
to,
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
something new. Even if not start a business of your own, but to tackle solutions or
Yeah.
sorry, tackle issues or obstacles and to find a solution. I think that's a great step by step approach. Some people are more structured like that, which
Yeah.
makes sense, and I do think that that's a great tip or trick for people to understand how they can tackle
I
situations.
resonate with the taking one day at a time bit.
Yes.
I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
something that's worked for me as well.
yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
have control over everything in life, so
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's one common mistake that people make, right? They want to get to a point sooner and they miss out on these steps.
or you see the whole picture, and then when you look at the whole picture, it's very overwhelming. But if you honestly do what he's saying, which is breaking it down or take it one step at a time,
Right.
you actually achieve slower, and then you realize midpoint, oh, I've achieved so much
So
already.
much.
So that helps.
Now this is just us breaking down.
We analyzing what you just said.
But in those same lines,
Yeah.
knowing that this is one type of a common mistake people make, what do you think is one of the common mistakes people make in this market as an entrepreneur or in real estate in Dubai?
Uh, from an entrepreneur perspective, or you're saying just in general?
I think more from an
Entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
I think in case if you probably join the dots between the entrepreneur and the real estate space, what I've seen in the industry is that people grow here too fast, which becomes an issue later on because there's huge amount of money coming through very quickly. So again, one of the pointers that we discuss is that we want to take one step at a time in terms of where we want to reach, as a journey as a company, rather than hiring more people, just sending out more campaigns, putting in more money on your campaigns and stuff, doing events left, right, and center. I've seen a lot of people doing that, and then within a year or two, they're not able to manage the cash flow. Then they go back to the employee stating that now we can't retain and stuff like that. I don't want to do that, as an organization or as a person. That is something that I don't want to do. So that is what I found, very common with a lot of people here, especially in the real estate, industry. I think they grow uh, too big too soon,
Yeah.
to probably give a sense in terms of what I'm talking about.
Right.
And eventually, I think they start facing a lot of problems on a daily, basis. So, you don't want to reach a point wherein, you'll have to look back and then, ask some of the employees to do all of these things that probably that you don't resonate as a person yourself. So, that's something that you don't want to do. That's one thing that I've seen common in Dubai. So, yeah.
It sounds like there's so much of like sustained and structured planning in what you're saying, and also
Yeah.
some sort of restraint. Like, because I'm just thinking, of course, I'm not from your background, you guys, but if I'm seeing everybody else do so well so quickly, and then when I'm in the same position, it's so tempting to do the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
But then to
No, and
have this approach
it
and
might have worked for. I'm not saying that 100% of the times that it probably doesn't work for someone, but as a person, I know that it's not going to work with me,
yeah,
or probably all the people that I get along with myself. It's not going to be good for their own future later on. So
Exactly.
probably that's one of the reasons in terms of why we've always discussed that we'll have proper plans in terms of
Yeah.
whether it's hiring, whether it's cash flow management. At least in the initial years, I think give a lot of respect to the foundation that you want to build,
Hmm.
so that then you can take the next step ahead in terms of speeding up in terms of more people coming on board, or probably having those higher targets and stuff.
Right.
But at least that you have a full backup plan to come back
Yeah.
to, wherein you have a decent amount of foundation, wherein people can always come back to that level, and then again still it's not that impactful as a fall in case if you want to do anything
Absolutely,
wrong.
absolutely.
Yeah, that is really powerful. First, to
Visionary,
have
visionary.
yeah, have a vision and then execute it. Now, I know that manpower planning is very very important, especially coming from a strategic HR perspective. I know that it is important. In COVID, we all saw what happened. Companies couldn't sustain the manpower they had
Absolutely.
hired, and then right after COVID, suddenly everyone's hiring left, right, and center, and then again we saw a fall where people started, getting fired like in big chunks. Now, obviously, I understand that that's something you have to do. And coming from my perspective as an HR, I think it's a really smart move because you're not get going full aggressive to your that's not an aggressive approach that you're taking.
Yeah.
You're taking a strategic approach, which
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate because I see that you're not being unethical. Second, you're not using manpower to just get you to a
Yeah.
point or
True.
your company to a point, xyz point that you have targeted for yourself, whereas you're trying to build a community
Yeah.
that's eventually going to succeed together and not just you yourself, which is so selfless, I think.
But I love that. I love a
Yes.
community approach.
Yes,
It's
so
wonderful.
that's really great. And I think as psychologists, we think this is great for the employees in your company as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So from a perspective as outsiders, but also technically I'm an insider, but what do you think has been the toughest challenge or situation that you have come across in your journey? And then also give me the other side of that coin, is what was the most like best achievement that you have experienced,
uh, the toughest challenge, is it?
or toughest decision or issue that you have come
I think in
across.
case if you see, the toughest decision was the first decision in terms of to do something of my own.
Mm.
So I think a lot of people usually struggle with. I sense that when I speak with a lot of people who are currently in jobs, you need to go probably take that leap of faith in terms of from a job to your own business journey.
Absolutely.
So I think that was one of the major hurdles that I went through. Obviously I had my own apprehensions in terms of how it's going to work. For me it was like I had like more than a decade of experience in corporate real estate, so I needed to leave that, and everything of that was probably in India or with relation to Indian properties. So Dubai properties was probably a new kind of a market for me.
Yeah.
Mm.
So to come from there to take this decision, Also coming from the fact that I don't have any prior entrepreneurial experience. Most of the people that I've been associated in my family are all regular
Service.
service class guys. So I think to actually even think of something that in terms of for me to do something was a bigger question. But I think to overcome this, I think what helped was a lot of my peers were really kind of supportive when I spoke to them, whether it was Saurabh, whether it was Ishfaq, whether there were a couple of other people that I was being associated with for a longer period of time. So they were really supportive of the idea because they had seen my entire journey from kind of day one, through the entire jobs, through various companies that I worked with. So I think their support helped when I discussed all of these plans with them. Obviously, my family supported in terms of usually there's certain apprehensions in case if the family has, then you start self doubting yourself in terms of
Absolutely,
what do
absolutely.
you do, how will I go through this. So at least on those ends, I was kind of really grateful that I had kind of their support. Plus, I think what also helped was uh, a positive mindset at the start of it, because usually I'm not a person who kind of does something and then think it through later on.
Right.
I think and then probably kind of act. So there were a lot of moves or thoughts that I already had in my mind before taking the decision. uh, the good part for me was that I already had the experience in the industry.
Yeah.
So that was one good thing. I had connects in the industry.
Hmm.
The only thing that I needed to do was just go out there and then start it off. But as I said, that a couple of these things probably helped me with obviously a positive outlook and a little bit of self belief in yourself that in case if you're
100%.
putting your
Yeah,
efforts into it, so
absolutely.
at least we'll be able to do that, because
Yeah.
I think half of your battle is kind of won there when you feel that something that you're starting out, to do it on yourself, you'll be able to kind of
The trust
go
in your
through.
abilities also,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Absolutely.
And I think
Absolutely.
probably that could also be one of the pointers to be given to other people starting off, which you asked earlier. I think
Right.
that self belief is something which is really really important, because
Great point.
I'm sure there will be other people doubting all of throughout your entire journey
Yeah.
at every given step. So whether it's your competition, whether it's your
Yeah.
own family, whether it's your partner, whether it's your friends, everybody will
Yeah.
have some of the other doubts. But then you just need to go back, analyze the why in terms of why did you start this.
Right.
That's extremely important. And then some bit of self belief in terms of to
Yeah,
get
I
to get
totally
you through.
resonate with
Yeah,
that.
that's no, that's
Yeah.
great. That's a great answer. From the point that you had an amazing support from your friends and
Yeah.
families and colleagues, ex-colleagues, to coming back to yourself that you had that belief that you can succeed. So it's a great
But I think
point.
it's a combination also, right? Like there's a self worth and a self esteem that's attached to it. But also, I think so important is the systemic support, family,
Yeah,
friends,
absolutely. No,
connects,
that's
network.
yeah.
Because I see a lot of people also who may have either, but
Right.
if you don't have certain stars aligning at the right time, it won't
Yeah.
work in a certain way.
Yeah.
But I think for you, that it seemed to, I think, fit. And of course, then hard work. I totally give
No,
you
I
that.
mean, that's the end point of it. I mean, I don't think you can work without hard work.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
When you're going down for
absolutely.
an entrepreneur journey, I think you just can't start doing something half-heartedly, or you can't. I don't think you can keep it going on for a longer period of time unless and until you're willing to put in that hard work or certain bit of smaller sacrifices in place. I don't think anybody reaches to whatever the levels that they want to unless and until
Can you mention
this
some of
goes.
your sacrifices in this controversial
So
podcast?
sacrifice,
Controversial.
sacrifices in the sense, I mean, this would be common to a lot of people who have started on their own.
Yeah.
Obviously, you get lesser time with your family,
Yeah.
whether it's your partner, whether it's your wife, whether it's your family. I don't get to go to India that quite often
Often.
after I've kind of done this. So that's one bit of
Yeah.
flip point of the entire coin. The other is that, I think there's a switch inside you that you don't stop throughout the entire day, in terms of, you're always thinking in terms of what do you do from the business end of it.
Oh, that's
So
hard.
yeah, so to actually know when to switch that off
Yeah.
is something that I'm trying to work on. But then that's obviously a little bit of sacrifice, because it might not impact you, but then it might impact the other people who are around you after the office hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's, again, I mean, for you and for themselves also, this is going to be a sort of a sacrifice. But yeah, I mean, these are the usual complications that come with running a business. But I'm happy so far.
Usually.
I mean, this would be common,
See, for
No,
him
no,
it's
but
common.
yeah, but again, one of my other issues is that I'm a workaholic. So there has to be very few times, probably throughout the entire day, when the work is not on my
But I've seen this with a lot of
mind.
entrepreneurs. There is a
True.
bit of a streak.
It's hard though.
Yeah, it is very hard.
It's going to take a toll on you eventually. One fact
But
I
I've told
know.
him this off camera.
Yeah, but this is a fact, right? I ask him when does he take vacations, and he says never.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
Well done.
you guys have to tell me when was the last
Well
vacation
done.
that I was been on.
Since
I actually know the animation I'm going to put for this part. I don't take a vacation.
it's ridiculous. The psychological impact of this is something that we would definitely want to know more from you, and maybe we can keep that for a different another podcast. So one of the things that
So
I want
there's a part two to this. We've already
Yes,
told you.
I
Be
think
ready.
I think I want to ask our listeners, that do they want to hear more from Kunal? Like, do they want a part two? Yes, guys, say yes.
I think they'll say.
I doubt, but I'm happy to
We'll
come
look
for a
later.
second.
We'll rig it.
So I honestly want to ask you so many more questions, not
Sure.
just about the self awareness part, that your shortcomings, but you also know your strengths, and you play on your strengths, and you work on your shortcomings. Right? These are some points that not just as an entrepreneur might it might help just people who are working in this industry, people like me who are working with leaders like you. And the same thing goes for like even you and your clients or your friends. We can give them tips and tricks about how you can have personal SWOT analysis so that you can work on yourself to be better. So I think there's so much more we can ask you, and so much more we can get out of this. We can have, and I say that this is a controversial topic, is because everyone wants to, in some part in their brain, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, but it's not always rosy, it's not always
Absolutely, absolutely.
an easy path. And so it is really important for people to realize that you need to be either prepared or you need to take the jump, but you will face challenges eventually.
Yeah.
And you should be prepared to take those challenges on. But it's still doable. I mean, I think it's
Yeah.
doable.
No, I mean, probably in case if someone like me can do it, who comes from a totally, not an entrepreneur background, probably
Yeah.
then, somebody who's already had some experience, I think it'll be a little more easier for them. But yeah, in case if I can do it, I think other people can too.
That's really nice of you to say. But I know there's so much more to it, and that's why we need a part two, guys. Well,
Everybody ask for Kunal, right? Ask for a part two with Kunal.
but no, this is what it is to.
No, but we will ask him more.
Yes.
Be interested.
Yes, and this is what it is to be an entrepreneur in Dubai, guys. This is the reality. This is who you are when you come to Dubai in this space. Make it big and continue to make it big. And
Autograph dinner.
yes, yes, please. So thanks again, Kunal.
Thanks,
for doing
Kunal.
this.
This
Thank
was
you
so good.
so much, guys.
Yes,
I've not asked you enough. I will ask you in part two.
I know I'm a little again nervous for that as well, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy to
The
answer,
time bound.
anything that I can, and this was
Yes.
really nice. Yeah.
No,
Thank-
Subscribe and like.
I'm already
And
on.
comment.
I think I was the first subscriber,
Wow.
probably.
We need to give.
I
you a
was.
podcast.
Ask
Why not?
Akshay. I was one of the first
Yes.
subscribers on the channel.
Very good. Keep it up.
But can I tell you guys one short secret or small secret? Kunal was the one who was like, maybe you guys should do a podcast, and he actually put that
So if
bug
we
in my
become
heart.
millionaires,
So I also become a millionaire.
we'll give you
Spoken like a true
Steal
entrepreneur.
the
Again, thank
No,
you
but
so
thanks,
much.
Kunal, for everything, and
Yes.
we'll catch up with you again.
Thank you so much,
Soon.
guys. I'm looking forward.
Woo-hoo. All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.